Republican leaders making it clear after the election that their party is getting serious about overhauling the nation's dysfunctional immigration system. However, sweeping immigration reform, well, it might be sidelined because of more urgent economic issues. So could that have a political fallout for the GOP from Hispanic voters? Let's bring in our political panel. Matt Keelan, he is founder of the Keelan Group and consultant for the National Republican Senatorial Committee. And Marjorie Clifton, former consultant to the Obama campaign and principal at Clifton Consulting. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
So the president actually had huge majorities in the House and the Senate for 2 years when he first took office, but he failed to act on immigration until his executive order just prior to this last election. So why should we expect progress on immigration this time around with a divided House and Senate and a looming fiscal cliff? Marjorie, I'll let you take that one.
Well, the difference is now we have got a political will needed by the Republican Party. It was a very different environment, and this is something that really is going to require energy by both Democrats and Republicans to make it happen. What's happened in this second election cycle is we've seen the rising tide of Latino voters, which is only going to get greater. And I think widely, Republicans have realized that if they do not get Latino voters in the coming elections, they're going to have no hope. And what we do know is those Latino voters, immigration reform is #1 on their list. So again, it's going to take both parties to get this done.
Matt, what do you think?
I totally agree with Marjorie. This time I hope the president shows some presidential leadership. It's going to be up to him to move Democrats to actually bring a vote up in the Senate. And I do believe that John Boehner, Speaker of the House, is ready to work with them and try to get something done, at least something that addresses the higher education immigrants that are wanting to get into this country. You know, we need engineers, we need doctors in this country, and right now our policy is actually shipping them here to be educated and then back home instead of having them here to actually benefit our economy.
And perhaps, Matt, here's one of the things they're doing. They did make it clear after the election that they were ready to get serious about overhauling the nation's immigration system, Republicans that is, and a top priority for Hispanic communities as well, as Marjorie mentioned. So is taking up what is called the STEM Jobs Act during the lame duck session a first step in that direction?
Heather, if you remember the great movie What About Bob, the way to successfully rehabilitating yourself was baby steps. And what this Congress and this president, I believe, need to do is start taking some baby steps together. And I think the STEM Act is a great example of something that most people in Congress, most people in the country agree on. And if we can't get that done at this point, I think we're in for another 2 years of finger pointing in the blame game, and I hope that they can come together to get this little thing done.
Marjorie, do you think that they will come together and at least that part of immigration reform, a small step, will pass?
Well, I think they have to come together, but the question is whether you piecemeal it or you do an overhaul. And what we know is you can't really piecemeal this and get it done, and there's a lot of debates about this. But the key thing is this is the biggest fiscal issue of our time. Doing a comprehensive immigration reform, which includes path to citizenship and path to legalization for also those workers on the ground, could mean $1.6 trillion added to the GDP over 10 years. And just talking to construction owners and restaurant owners in Houston, Texas, and Nashville, Tennessee, in my own work, the price of houses alone would go up 30% without this migrant labor that we really need. So I think that this is absolutely a fiscal issue, but I think it's going to require a full overhaul, not just a piecemeal effect.
You know, a majority of voters, they have consistently supported what they refer to as a welcoming immigration policy since, in fact, 2006. This is a Rasmussen poll that we found for you. It finds support for a welcoming immigration policy from 60% of Republicans, 60% of Democrats, and 55 of those not affiliated with either major party. Rasmussen also added, though, that people who are angry about immigration, they're not really angry at the immigrants, they're angry at the federal government. Yeah. So finally, do you think at this point people, they just have come to expect the gridlock, that will continue?
Unfortunately, yes. But I think, again, we've seen that there is political will to get this done. We've seen the power of the Latino voters, and we know that it does rely on this Congress, which is frankly a new Congress. We do not have many of the Tea Party members that were putting a block to this in place anymore. And so I'm hoping now we have a makeup of a Congress that knows that there is an America behind this.
Matt?
Heather, we need a profile and courage from the president to bring this bill, a comprehensive bill in particular, up and to drive his party to take a tough vote on this issue. He did not do it when he had full control of the House and the Senate. He had 60 votes in the Senate. He could have done it in his first 2 years. He chose not to. That was a political decision. He's not up for re-election again. I hope that he shows some leadership this time.
We will see. Matt Keelan, Marjorie Clifton, thank you both for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.